identifies that which is not.
So that's what your ordinance says. I didn't write it, you did.
Well, we've just told you, and council has just told you, that the sign on the back of your truck is not going to be prohibited
But that's
by
not
this
what the
ordinance.
ordinance
So
says.
what further explanation do you?
Well, yeah, I need no further explanation except to say that that sentence ought to be purged from the ordinance because that sentence is contrary to what you're saying. And we either have to make a decision that we are going to follow the law according to the law or follow the law according to Mayor Morgan. Which one is it?
You've made your comment that you believe that that last sentence should be removed from the ordinance. Okay. Move on to your next point, if you have.
Mr. O'Hare said something, and I don't remember exactly what it was. If you want to go up and say it again, I'd appreciate it. About something about being conflicts in houses. You can do it here and you can't do it here, something like that. So I don't remember exactly.
Excuse me, Mr. Boyle, we're getting a lot of background noise.
Pardon?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you because if somebody was speaking loud like this.
You have attention to a building or you can't, I don't know which.
Section 66448, subsection G, says no sign may be attached to, affixed to, painted on, or otherwise placed upon any dwelling or other building associated with a dwelling, including but not limited to sheds, carports, garages, and pool houses. If I put in a very nice tile, Casa Oil, in front of my home, next to my front door, am I in violation of this ordinance? Assume you're so wide, Mr.
Are you directing your comments through the chair, or are you directing them to me?
I was looking at you.
I know you were looking at me, but usually you direct your questions through the chair, and the chair will call on me if he wants to answer. The ordinance states that this does not deal with numerals on all.
Casa Oil, I don't see any numerals in there.
No, there's not.
So what are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just directing to the ordinance. I don't know if this is the time, the council, the commission is here considering this ordinance. It's not considering the application of it in the future, other than to attempt to adopt a content-neutral ordinance that will sustain constitutional scrutiny. That's the purpose of this ordinance, and that's the purpose of this meeting.
Well,
The town is going to have to make a determination in the future as to how this ordinance will be applied. And presumably, the town, as it has done in the past, is going to apply its ordinances fairly and in accordance with the terms of the language of the code. I don't know how far the commission wants to go in determining what may be done in the future or what may not be done in the future in regard to the application of this code.
and I understand that, and that's why I asked was going to be enforced. I'm pointing out now what I think are flaws in the ordinance. As an example, if the Pope were to come to Gulfstream, he should be arrested. He violates your sign ordinance. If a rabbi were to come to Gulfstream, he should be arrested because he violates your sign ordinance. I wore this hat today, doesn't fit, for no other reason than to point out that if I wear this hat, that I should be arrested. I wore this shirt today, which has a logo on it, for no other reason except to point out that I should be arrested. Now, my question is, if that's what the commission wants, I understand it, and I think they should go for it. My sense is, none of you read it. My sense is, none of you know what what the points that I'm making, I read it. And I think for you to say that the Pope can't come to Gulfstream based upon an ordinance that you wrote, shame on you.
It's palpably absurd.
Pardon?
It's palpably absurd. Your comments, just like Mr. O'Hare's comments, comparing this town to despotic regimes, are insulting and absurd. Your comments are designed to take what is a good faith effort by this town, pass a reasonable ordinance, and as always, apply that ordinance fairly and reasonably. Your attempts are to position it such that you can advance legal action against it, again costing it time, resources, and money. Do you have anything further to say, Mr. O'Hare?
I
On the
do.
ordinance.
I do. A woman is worth one. Should be arrested for her earrings. They're in violation of this code. I don't have a tattoo, but if anyone up here has a tattoo that's 4 foot above the ground level, they should be arrested, because they're in violation of this sign ordinance. A nun, her habit and her rosary beads are in violation of this sign ordinance. And if there were a nun in town, I don't know if there are, this ordinance says that she should be arrested, particularly since you're going to, or you've made the statement that you intend to fully enforce this ordinance. And lastly, the ordinance says that no house may have mold in it. Now, I've been building for almost 50 years, and I can't remember a house that doesn't have mold. And this town is now saying that houses can't have mold. Now, you talk about absurd. That's about as absurd as I heard.
Are you finished, Mr. O'Boyle?
One more.
Please.
A typical real estate sign is a, well, you know, Mr. Morgan is a political sign you put up. A typical real estate sign or political sign would be a better example. They're nothing more than thin metal hangers. You can sort of bend them with your fingers. And they have a placard, if you will, that says, Mr. Morgan for King of the World. I don't know if they say that, something like that. They have to go to Delray Beach to be approved. Are you kidding? Under your ordinance?
Ordinance speaks for itself. Do you have any other comments, Mr. O'Boyle?
And I know the ordinance, but am I correct in my reading?
No, we're not going to answer any more particular questions. I think we've given you a wide latitude. We're going to consider this ordinance in second reading. Do you have any other comments?
Well, I think so. I think whether it's first reading or second reading, I think I'm allowed to make inquiry.
Well, within a reasonable period of time.
What would that be?
I'm giving you wide latitude. If you have any other comments particular to the ordinance, please make them.
What would that reasonable period of time be?
One that does not unduly delay this hearing.
That's not very big, is it?
No, Mr. O'Boyle. Please just make your comments. I want to give you every opportunity to make your comment.
Okay? An object is prohibited providing it's over 4 foot. In this ordinance, what is an object? Mr. O'Hare, I'm sure, and myself, we don't want to be arrested for having an object, would we? He says no. I say
Ordinance speaks for itself. We'll take under consideration your comments, your questioning of the definition or interpretation.
Well, can we
Of the
know
word
now,
object.
because when I leave here now, I might want to run home and, if I have an object, fix it. Unless you're not going to enforce it, right?
I don't know what you intend to do, Mr. O'Boyle, but we're going to make a decision on this ordinance, and to the extent you can comment on any of its terms, you're welcome to do so.
Right, but can I ask a question on any of its terms, or are you prohibiting that?
I'm not prohibiting it,
Okay, then can you
but
answer
we
my
may not
question?
answer your particular question. You may not be in a position to do it. It may be a rhetorical question. You seem to be going pretty far afield at this point, but I hear your questions, and I hear your points.
Mhm.
We'll certainly consider them.
Yeah, and thank you. When I leave here, if I'm in violation, I want to fix it before you can beat me to my house. What is an object?
Ordinance speaks for itself, sir. Read the language of the proposed ordinance.
So you know what it means.
I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you. As counsel said, this is not the time for us to take applications from you on the nuances of words in this ordinance. I believe the ordinance speaks for itself. We discussed it at length at the commission meeting, and we're now discussing it again at second reading. You may make your comments. Please, get to them.
Okay. Insignia. What might that be?
It's the same thing, Mr. O'Boyle. Ordinance speaks for itself. These are words of common use.
Is it a secret?
It's not a secret, it's a word of common use. Look it up.
Okay, so whatever I look up in Webster's, I can rely on that?
Please, Mr. O'Boyle, do you want to go through every word in this ordinance? I invite you to make your comments, which you have, and to the extent that you raise points, valid or invalid, we will, as a commission, consider them.
I only wish I can believe you. It's a sad day when I can't.
I think you have no reason to disagree.
Oh, I think I have a hell of a reason not to believe you.
Thank you for those comments, Mr. O'Boyle. Anyone else? If not, any other comments or questions from the commission? If not, we've had second reading of ordinance 15/1 is under consideration for approval. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve ordinance 15-1, an ordinance of the town commission of the town of Gulfstream as stated by the town clerk.
A second.
Read it.
Commissioner Ganger?
Yes.
Commissioner Stanley?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes?
Commissioner Orson? Yes. Mayor Morgan?
Yes. Thank you very much. Any other comments from the commission? If not, this meeting is adjourned.